All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans for Tuesday, February 7th, 2023. My name is Bill Soroka. I'm the founder of Notary Business Builder, the Advanced Notary Mastermind, and author of Sign and Thrive, How to Make Six Figures as a Mobile Notary and Loan Signing Agent. I'm excited to welcome my wonderful co-host, Laura Biewer. Hey, Laura, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. It's a beautiful day out here in Modesto, California.
All right, lovely. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, if you don't know me, I am Laura Biewer, and I am the founder of Coach Me Laura and co-founder of Notary Business Builder. Good to be on today.
Glad to have you here. And guys, we have a very special co-host on TNT for the entire month of February, all 4 Tuesdays. Janae Blatch, founder of the Florida Academy of Notaries, or FAN. Hey, Janae, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I am no stranger to TNT. I love being here. My name, again, is Janae Blatch. I am the owner of JD Notary Solutions, co-owner along with my husband. And as you mentioned, the founding director of the Florida Academy of Notaries, where we offer state-specific training for Florida notaries. So excited to be here. Thank you, Laura and Bill, for having me.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure. Thank you for making the time in your busy schedule as well, Janae. Guys, the reason we invited Janae up is as you will see, she's got a ton of knowledge, not just about Florida specific, of course, because that's where she practices, but also in cultivating deeper relationships with escrow direct clients, attorney direct clients, all of that good stuff. So I encourage you all to ask great questions with amazing hosts or co-hosts like Janae. If you have questions about building your business, this is the time to do it. This is the best use of this time as we're all pivoting a little bit, making changes, growing and expanding our business. So on TNT, the best way to make this work is to use the raise hand feature in Zoom. If you don't know where that's at, it's usually, if you hover the mouse over my face right now, it'll open up a toolbar down below. You can select reactions. There should be a little big bar that says raise hand. It might depend on your device and the version of Zoom that you have. If you have any questions, type it into Zoom. We have some amazing people, notaries across the country that can help coach you through that. They're a lot more technically skilled than I am. Speaking of using chat, you can use this to connect with each other with 2 notaries across the country. One of the great benefits of a call like this that's nationwide is that you can connect with your peers in other cities, because we all need the support. We all need referrals. We all need people to refer to that we know, like, and trust. So use this time to do that in the chat. You can even connect privately if you prefer to do that as well. So let's jump in. Laura, do we have any announcements that you want to kick off with first?
This afternoon at 5 o'clock Clubhouse, a notary successful journey with Matt Miller and Sue Hope and Katrina Caldwell and myself. If you'd like to join us, we're actually going to have a guest attorney with us, and we're going to talk about how to avoid copyright infringement and plagiarism and different things that many of us get affected. Somebody likes what we did and they decide to do it too. So if you're interested in that, join us at 5 o'clock on Clubhouse.
5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern. And it's real easy to find them. A Notary Successful Journey is the name of the Clubhouse room on there. Janae, how about you? Any announcements today?
Today is my training Tuesday. So right after this, I am continuing with the FAN Academy, the members with our loan signing course. We're walking through that. So yeah.
Awesome.
And we have Table Talk next week. Yeah.
What is Table Talk? You want to tell us about Table Talk real quick?
Yes, Notary Table Talk. It's just like this, similar, but we just talk all things notary, specific topics. Next week, we have actually Jim Allen coming to talk to us about Google Business Profile. It's been something that's been requested a lot by my members. So he's coming out to talk to us about that. And I know the TNT community is very familiar with Mr. Jim Allen. So yeah, come if you want to understand more about that, come learn. Awesome. It's free. Yeah.
Yeah, totally free. And if you want to get in Janae's orbit and get emails reminding you and showing you how to register for those events, just register for the free resource library she has. I posted that link in the chat as well. Completely free, tons of good information. Plus she can keep you posted on all things FAN. All right, let's jump in. We've got a couple of questions first. Gia, thank you so much for your patience. What state are you in and how can we help?
Thank you. Happy Tuesday, Bill, Laura, Janae. Thank you for having this phone call, and everyone. I'm in California, and this question is directed at Laura. I'm attending a luncheon with the Estate Planning Council in my area. I have watched Laura's trust appointments video, and I would like a suggestion for a 10-second elevator pitch. I've done over 400 loan signings and yet to do a trust signing. So the breakfast is on Thursday morning. So Laura, I would like your advice on the 10-second elevator pitch that I can pitch to the trust community and those that I network with. And then I have another question afterward. Thank you.
Sure. And this is a great way to become visible and meet the people in the profession that you're looking to break into. And here's what I would say. That 10-second pitch wouldn't be more than, hi, I'm your name and what area you're from. And I think the rest of it is really directed towards identifying what it is you're excited to learn about because it's at the beginning of it, or what you might have identified that you learned from that presentation, and how maybe you would love to see more of this kind of thing. It's so needed, but make your pitch really more about how excited you are to hear what they have to say. They've gone to a lot of work to put this together, and make that your first, and see if you can connect so that you can follow up, and may I follow up with you? I'm sure they want to follow up with you anyways, if you've attended their seminar, and wait till the second or third contact to really go into, hey, I'm a notary and I would love to join your team. This looks like exactly a fit for how I like to do business, making sure people know what they're signing before they're signing it. And so that would be my recommendation, is to have very minimal about you in the beginning, and focus on the value that you either hope to get or that you did get, and then the follow-up. Can I follow up? And when you follow up, then offer a little more at that time. Bill, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think I would. I love the approach that you're presenting here, Laura, because so many times we fall into pitching or regurgitating our value and how excited we are. And we just want business, and we just want you to send more business. A little early in the conversation, I wholeheartedly agree that we've got to slow down and cultivate relationships. But at the same time, I think we can also, if you've only got 10 seconds to make an impact, there are probably some cool ways to do that. And one of the ideas that I've been toying with, based on some of last year's research and outreach with attorneys I did, is something like, my name is Bill Soroka. I help attorneys double their impact and possibly their income. Here's the service areas I help out in. I'd love to connect with you later. Like if it's an intro, just say something that captures their attention. Like they're going to want to say, how do you do that? How do you help attorneys double their impact? And I like using the word impact even more than revenue, because a lot of times these clients that we're trying to appeal to, attorneys, admin, entrepreneurs, whoever it might be, they've got dreams of their own. And that usually is changing the world or making a difference in people's lives, right? So if you use language that taps into their dream, it at least gets, hey, I'm gonna write down Gia's name. I'm gonna ask her about that later. Janae, I wonder if you have any perspective on this as well.
Yeah, I love what Laura said. I always add value first. Let them know that I want to partner with you and helping and finding out more about them. But with a 10-second pitch, I agree. You don't have much. You have to be able to give a way for them to reach you. Usually have a way. I try to formulate it in a way that they're asking me for my card rather than me offering that information. So add enough value, intrigue them enough, like with the statement that you made, to say, oh, I need your card. I want to know more. So give them that like little tease if you only have 10 seconds, but letting them know what you offer, but more the value. How can I help you? Like with direct escrow clients, I let them know how I can help them, save time. You don't have to do the closings. I can take care of that for you. I offer in-house closings, things like that. And then they're going to ask more, but intrigue them with the value, something that you can help them with, and then let them ask you for your information. I find that gives me more conversion with my clients where they're reaching out to me.
Thank you.
Thank
Janae.
you. Thank you so much. And on Notary Coach, Bill, are there any trust packages? I didn't see any of those when I took Laura's class. Any things that I can download or print out that I can
Yes,
study?
definitely. So just for clarification, Sign and Thrive does not have much in the way of general or specialty notary work. That's a loan signing training program. But in the library, if you do have Laura Biewer Presents,
Mhm.
her LBP, which is hosted at notarycoach.com, there is a specific training on living trust, last wills, healthcare directives, all of that with downloads. And I just verified that today that the downloads are there and ready to go.
Okay, the downloads are there. Do you know where I go? Because I was looking for them and I couldn't find the downloads. I just go back and go to home and downloads are there somewhere.
So the downloads are under each individual module. So when you watch the video, right underneath or off to the right, depending on your device and how it lays out, there's a place for downloads. And on the Living Trust specifically, there's 2 different downloads that you can download.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Great question. That sparked a great conversation too. I love that. Andrea, thank you so much for being here. What state are you in and how can we help?
I'm in Oregon, and I had a call that kind of spooked me a little bit. It was a customer or a potential customer that wanted some apostille done. And they said, do you have this special stamp? I said, I don't have an apostille stamp. That has to be done through the, Secretary of State. And he said, no, the Secretary of State just kicked me back and said, I need to talk to somebody that has a notary that has a special stamp. I don't know what they're talking about.
Laura,
So
what say you?
Could be an embosser.
could be an embosser.
Yeah, it could be an embosser, not that that's required to get apostille work. So
Yeah.
I happen to use an embosser on all the pages except my certificate, and that's where my formal stamp goes, because many foreign countries either want it or appreciate that. It ties all the documents together. So but that's an optional seal, and you don't put ink with that. It's just that impression,
Yeah.
the paper. But I've never heard of anybody at the Secretary of State rejecting it for not having it, because that's not a requirement within the United States, unless you're in a state that uses an embosser as your official seal. So I'm surprised that it came back that way. It's the foreign country who's usually wanting it.
Yeah, I backed away from it because I didn't know what they were talking about.
Do you have an embosser?
No, but I think I should probably have one.
If
I'm
you're going to do
planning on doing it.
apostille work, I
Mhm.
suggest you do.
Okay.
I don't
Thank
really
you.
use it for anything else, but I do use it almost every single time for the apostille work that I do.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, great suggestion. Thanks, Andrea. Great question. All right, Dina, thanks for being here. Would you like to unmute? Tell us what state you're in and how we can help.
Hi there. I'm in Nevada, and my question, and thank you for taking my question. And my question also regarding apostille. Last month, I had an experience. I had a customer. She resides in California, and I got her power of attorney notarized online, remotely. And her document was for Uzbekistan, which is my motherland as well. And the document was in Russian language. And I got an apostille through Secretary of State. And before I start this procedure, I asked this customer to go and ask an official that was handling I don't remember what was it, the document. And I asked her to make sure that they will accept this document because there is a disclosure in the very bottom of the document that the document was notarized using audio video communication. And after getting this, the okay from this official, we proceeded with this notarization and getting apostille. And finally, this document went to the Uzbekistan and accepted by the official. My question is, for those who do apostilles, have you ever gotten your document rejected because of this disclosure in the very bottom of the document? Because I asked for another country, for Ukraine, and we all know that the war going on, and I asked another official in Ukraine, and he said, no, we do not accept this because we need to all documents to get notarized in person.
Yeah.
So my question is there any issues with that, with this disclosure in the very bottom?
Yeah, good question, Dina. And we'll go to Laura first on this. I think you highlighted that there obviously can be a problem depending on the receiving agency. Laura, go ahead.
It can be, and he might just have given the wrong answer, although I think Matt, who's also on the call today, is very knowledgeable about this kind of thing. And any receiver can not accept a remote notarization. They don't have to. So yeah, I mean, you did the right thing by asking up front to have them find out if it was accepted. That's exactly what you want to do. But it doesn't mean that they get the right answer. And did I not just see Amy?
Yes.
I'm here. I've got both hands again now.
All right, Amy. Amy.
I
did
didn't
you
hear the
have a review?
question though, so I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, the question
Thank you,
was, in short, my question was, because of this disclosure that we have at the very bottom of the remotely notarized documents, is there any rejections because of this for foreign countries, for documents that goes across the pond? Is there any issues because of this disclosure? Because probably some of countries request that the notarization should be in person only. So is there any cases that was rejected because of this disclosure?
Gotcha. The disclosure itself is not why they would reject it. They would reject it for the use of electronic signatures.
Okay.
So there is a site, let me pull it up here, that actually gives a state-by-state legality of different countries, whether they will acknowledge electronic signatures. And I just put it in the chat. So that'll help you when determining if you can use RON as a solution. But when you ask the receiving agencies, don't say, I've got to put this disclosure on there. Ask, will you accept it with electronic signatures?
Okay.
If they say yes, then they'll do a RON. If they say no, it's got to be a pen, well, then maybe a REN, or you have to do it in person.
Awesome, Amy. Thank you. And nothing showed up in the chat when you.
Yeah, actually, I can see that.
Oh, so you sent it right to
Yeah.
Dina. Okay, gotcha.
And Bill, I just want to follow up with the previous question, because I saw it in the chat that people were thinking about a medallion. A medallion is not a notarization. A notary will not have that kind of authenticating stamp or whatever it is. That you have to have a certain series license to have that. It's only done at not national banks. And Secretary of State certainly would not kick it back for not having or send them to a notary, because no notary is going to have that. All right, so make sure everybody's clear about medallions. Medallions are guaranteeing a signature, and it's only done by certain licensed professionals in financial institutions. So
Okay, perfect.
I want to make sure everybody was clear about that.
Yep, good. Thank you for that clarity for sure. Dina, did we do a good job of answering your question?
Yes, I got all answers. That
Okay.
very useful link. And can I ask another question regarding apostille? It's a quick question. So
Please.
for identification method, here in Nevada, we are not allowed to do biometric. And that's why I can only have customers through notarize.com who have to go through KBA analysis. I already had a conversation with the candidate for Nevada Assembly, and I just offered that, but I'm too late to the party because they have the session beginning in February. But is it real to get this offered, like this bill to get for Nevadan notaries to get this biometric, because it would help tremendously, because I have so many people who doesn't speak English at all, and they need, let's say, DS 3053 form, where father giving consent to give the passport to minors. And many people ask me, but I cannot, but the fathers usually live abroad and they don't have social security numbers to get around this KBA analysis. So I actually emailed to this assembly candidate, and she said, we're late for this year, maybe next year, but is it real to get this bill offered and just to make it real thing?
Yeah, Dina, I love this question, and I'd love to bring up Matt to help answer it too, because I think it's very real, and this is exactly how things get done. So Matt, do you have a second? Can you jump in and share your perspective on this?
Sure, great question, Dina. And yeah, this would be something that would have to be changed legislatively by bill amending the current law. And I am looking at your Nevada legislative calendar right now, and the deadline to introduce any bills for this session has passed. So what you want to do is work with your lawmakers all year this year, so that next year they'll have something to introduce right out of the gate, and hopefully get it passed through both houses and signed into law to amend your RON law to allow for not KBA, but say it again.
Biometric.
Biometric, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So definitely possible, right, Matt? I mean, this, like, taking action like this is exactly what instigates change.
Absolutely.
Okay, I will be hoping that one day we get here the biometric in Nevada as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Dina, and keep us posted as you progress with that too.
I will, surely. Thank you.
Thank you. Edie, I'm just going to do a real quick interjection because we've got a special event tomorrow that you guys are all invited to attend. It's completely free. But the reason that we're doing it is I talked to so many notaries over the past 2 months that are finally retiring after working as a notary for 20, even 30 years sometimes. So there's a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace right now. So we invited one of our NBB experts on reverse mortgages, and tomorrow we are featuring our notary retirement. Is a reverse mortgage right for you? It's a completely free presentation for anybody who's interested in knowing how these work, either for yourself or for somebody that you love and like. I'm going to post that in there. You can register for that at notarycoach.com/retire. Edie, thank you.
Yeah,
How's it going? How can we help?
So I am working pretty diligently on making myself more of a presence on social media platforms, on various ones, and with advertising on those as well for some of the services that I provide. And obviously, being a mobile notary as well as a RON notary, able to do quite a bit. So my question is, and I'm doing this mostly because of my husband, and now that he's home, he can actually hear this answer. When it comes to taking photographs of like assisted care facilities or medical facilities to say, something along the lines of, hey, I make house calls. What would be some of the potential legalities for that? Would it be something that I'm able to do because I'm not trying to associate myself with that business specifically?
So the question is, do you have any legal liability for posting, hey, I go to this place and do notarizations? And
yes, because I have actually been to these locations.
Yeah, okay, great question. I think we can preface everything here that by saying that we are not attorneys and we are not offering legal advice right now. So if you'd like some legal advice on that, if you're a Legal Shield member, right, Phil? Contact your representative attorney and get the advice. Now, here's what, just on a practical level, when you're out working, is if you try to say something that says I'm affiliated or I am the in-house notary for this organization or this facility, that might cause a problem if that is not in fact the case.
Yeah, which is not something that I'm trying to do. I'm just
Right,
trying to
exactly.
say, you know, I don't believe in distance. I drive everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think I'm trying to think if I ever had any issue with that. I usually, this is free advertising, so places love that kind of stuff and they love that people deliver services like this to their facility. Laura, have you had any experience otherwise or any
Yeah,
suggestions?
you know what? I give a courtesy and say, I would love to have a picture of the front of your building on my website or my whatever it is, Google My Business page, because I come here and take care of your clients and I would love to be able to use that. Is that okay? I've never had no.
Yeah.
They were always like, hey, that's great.
Exactly. I love that suggestion too. It's easy as a question. Janae, what about you? Any suggestions that you have?
Yes, definitely ask permission if you're, that just builds the relationship. But I think taking a picture, as you were talking, Edie, I'm thinking of a possible reel. Do you use Instagram or Facebook?
I use them all.
Use them all. Perfect. So if you were to do like a reel, since you want to say that you sign everywhere, like get a nice trending sound. You know how to find the trending sounds? You can use it in the background of your reel, but get a trending sound so it gets in front of more people. But I can see you taking pictures, get like several pictures of different places around your town locally that you sign, and just have like flashbacks. I sign here, 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 here. Like it's engaging, it's quick, but you're getting your message across that I sign everywhere.
Right.
And then if you add a trending sound to that, that just gives you a little bit more of a bump. Even if you put it in the background, you can put it down really low, but then the algorithm will still pick it up as trending and get it out to more people. So just like do a quick fun reel with your personality, just saying it doesn't even have to be your picture. It could be with you because, you're the face of your business, right? So having a picture of you like standing in front of the sign, really fun, or display your personality and say, I sign here, I sign here. You can do that on a car. You can make it even funny and add a picture of a trunk of the car, because how many of us have signed in weird places, right? And make that a reel, like all the weird places I've signed. That's a whole nother reel right there. All the weird places I've signed, and pictures. You can do a carousel if you just want to do stock images and not necessarily a reel for video. Just video makes it more,
Yeah, and I felt it to be a little bit more personable that I'm physically taking those photos instead of trying to do anything from stock supply.
Yeah,
Because I may not necessarily agree with whatever that stock picture is.
right.
It just doesn't have the right feel to it or something like that. But yeah, I mean, that's a great idea, but also reaching out, obviously, because that's what he would prefer that I do. And I was just trying to hope that, hey, based off of free advertising, everybody's going to be happy. Not a big deal, but yeah.
And find out if they're on social media. See if you can tag them. You can ask them to tag, and then that gives them the publicity. They want to be tagged.
Okay.
Sorry, Bill.
No, that's perfect. And I was just going to say, I think back to when I first started doing the facility work, and it was because my grandmother was in a facility. She called it the cruise ship. Everything was included. They had entertainment, happy hours, all the booze was included. They had museum, like a little art gallery, libraries, and they loved to show it off. So I started just taking pictures of whatever they were bragging about, and then that's what I would share on my personal social media, and they loved that. So I think everybody has something they're trying to show off. If you can help them show it off more, it's going to be a much smoother yes. But what I loved is the ask a question. I know so many of us kind of want to be a little under the radar. We don't want to talk to people. We want it to be a little more passive, but there's so much power in building the relationship when you ask the question, because guess what? If the person who authorizes that decision probably has something to say about who they hire or who they add to their preferred list, right? So it's probably worth stepping out of our comfort zone and having that conversation. Great question, Edie. Thanks for bringing it. Was that helpful? And your husband agrees?
I don't know. He's not responding.
Well, what it is she had me take some pictures of direct signage that they had by the hospitals to say that these are the places we went in this particular area. So I think because, and the question is slightly different when it has to do with just a sign that was photographed.
Maybe so, maybe so. And you might want to think about, to Janae's point too, it's about the aesthetics of it, right? Are people going to want the sign? Are they going to want the building? Are they going to want the arch? Do they want the artwork in front of it? Do they want the lounge? You know, those types of things. Lots to think about. There's really no hard and set rules, though. That's the cool thing about this, is that we can add our own creative personality to just about all of this. And sometimes we don't know what we can't do until we do it and somebody says, hey, stop doing that.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that I am actually trying to avoid is a cease and desist, because I really don't want something like that coming to, bite me in the butt.
Definitely. Now, I would say that the three of us that have shared our perspectives here have never experienced that. Is that true, Janae, Laura?
Yeah, never.
Yeah. Usually if you're uplifting, the cease and desist usually comes when you start bad mouthing somebody publicly, right? They're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But if you're supporting them, you're supporting their residents or their guests, whatever they decide to call them. Like I said, there's probably exceptions to every rule, but I've never seen that happen.
If
Great
you
question.
want a legal
Edie.
answer, you need to ask an attorney.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly. But here's the thing with attorneys, right? And I love the advice that I get, but they're always thinking worst case scenario. They're always thinking about, because they get to see it all the time. So you get some interesting answers that way too.
But they might give you parameters.
Yeah, absolutely.
That if you do this and this and this, then that's fine. If you do this, that's not. So that's what I look for.
Absolutely. All right, Janelle, thanks for being here. You want to unmute, tell everybody what state you're in and how we can help.
Hi, I'm Janelle. I live in New York State.
All right.
And my question is, I have a client, she and her husband is like, they live here half the time, and the other half of the time they live in Texas, but they're putting their house up in New York State up for sale. So she's here, which she could sign, I could notarize her paper, but he's in Texas. So how could we get his signature? I know we just in New York State, we just opened up for the remote online notary. So I don't know, would that be an option for them? Or
yeah, great question, Janelle. That's a great question. We see this all the time. It's what we call a split signing. If they're working with an attorney or a title company, they can coordinate a split signing, so you can handle the wife's side of the signature and the notarization there, and then simultaneously, or even at a different time, a notary in Texas can be sitting down with her husband doing that signing there, and then they figure it all out on the other end. Sometimes it will be back to back, like Janelle, you'll sign for the wife, and then you'll FedEx the documents over to another notary in Texas, who will then take those same documents that you notarized on and then sign the husband.
oh, okay, perfect.
So that's pretty common. But now remote online notarization, as long as the receiving party is okay with doing it that way, might be a perfect option for us in this scenario.
Texas
Okay.
is RON state.
Yeah. Yeah, because Texas allows for RON, New York just now allows for RON. So that's definitely an option. Any other feedback, Laura, Janae?
Well, just saying that if you can do the RON, if you're a RON notary, then you could do both pieces.
Yep.
And you wouldn't have to hand it off to another notary.
Oh, yeah, I'm in the process of doing that now. I just gotta get my paper notarized and send off for the other $60 fee for that. So I'm trying to get that
Right.
weekend.
Right, and then get your platform.
Yes.
Right.
That was all I wanted to add.
Yeah, that's great. Janae, any perspective? on
Yeah,
that?
I think with Ron, though I'm certified as Ron, I haven't done mine. I actually became a Ron facilitator. So, but one of the things that I have found out is to verify with the lender, where if they will take, or if there's a certain platform that they will use, or if they will even accept, just like Laura said, it depends on the receiver. Sometimes they won't accept I just had one like that they didn't accept Ron. They wanted wet signatures only. So it all depends, even though it's legal in the state. Yeah.
All right, great. Awesome. Janelle, I'm glad to see you just jumping right in there and doing it. Any other questions we can help with?
No, that's all. Thank you guys so much.
All right, thanks for being here. Phil Shannon, good to see
Hey,
you.
always a pleasure to hang out with you guys. What a great crew. Great to see Janae. We've had the good fortune working in different areas. I forget if it was Texas or Philadelphia or
Philly.
where it was. I'll be in Michigan with Dashika and Shelly Thompson for the Michigan Consortium coming up in 3-4 months. Really looking forward to that. But just want to make sure everyone's aware today, 5 minutes after TNT, we will talk about the services that we provide to so many notaries across the country. We've been proud and privileged to be able to help so many notaries take advantage of a great service, and for some of them generate an additional source of income. So if you can jump into Zoom 5 minutes after this, we go for about 25 minutes, short and sweet and right to the point. I'll put my number in there, and I know Bill's probably already texting it's already put it in the chat, how to get to the event. So thanks so much. It's always great seeing everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much, Phil. Appreciate it, you being here. Joanne, welcome.
Hi, guys. I'm in Washington State.
All right.
Wondering, has anybody experienced a really popular nationwide title company to contact them in regards to being, she called it notary panel, but I'm thinking kind of like, being on their list. And so I kind of asked her some particulars and I said, oh, do I need to be Fidelity approved? And she kind of paused and I'm thinking, she should know that. I don't know. I just assumed. But yeah. And then so she emailed me the information. Their contract was pretty thorough. And I said, oh, how did you get my information? And she said, through the NNA. So I don't know if she just saw my signing agent profile or I don't know. So I just was wondering, is this, it seems legit. Like I said, she emailed me the docs, but I hadn't signed any. So.
Okay.
Does it cost money?
So the question is this particular title company that reached out to you because they scraped your information from signingagent.com, are they a legit company?
Yeah, well, no, it's Old Title Republic. So I know, but
Old Republic?
Old Republic, yeah.
Okay.
So,
okay.
And I
So
did look.
So what's your question about it?
Is this a thing? Is this a process? I guess, I'm only like a year in as far as a signing agent. So I don't know if this is something that is a normal process for them, or is this something new that they're doing as title companies?
Good question. Janae or Laura, have you experienced anything from Old Republic? The first thing that I would say is make sure that the email address is actually an Old Republic title email address. If it's Gmail or Yahoo, there's a chance that somebody's trying to pretend to be Old Republic. I'm not suggesting that it is, but you just want to double check it and make sure, because all of that 12 or 18 page contract that they have, or the application, is going to have every piece of information anybody with a nefarious mindset would need to take advantage of you. Now, that said, sometimes the one of the challenges that's resurfacing in our industry right now is that it's difficult to find notaries that are actually working and have availability and will answer their phones. So a lot of these bigger companies have taken back in-house control of their signing teams. So during the pandemic, it was it was madhouse, right? It was the wild, wild west. There was more demand than notaries. So they put up with whatever they had to put up with to get signings done. That's all changed now. So they're taking control and they're controlling quality. So a lot of them might be recruiting for their in-house teams. That's very much something I know is going on in other title companies. So maybe Old Republic's on board with that too.
So that's happening in California because I got an email from Old Republic, a title, and it was the recruitment department, and they laid out what their qualifications were. They were going to pay $95. And if it works for you, then let's move forward. But do not put on the contract, well, no, I want to negotiate that case by case. You had to accept their terms, and then they would work with you. So the recruitment letters are going out.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, that was the fee. Okay.
There you go.
I think we're going to see a lot more of this. They're moving from the platforms, moving from the mass text, because there's no quality control over those, no matter what the platforms have promised. So now they're going to have in-house training, in-house managers that are going to help with that quality level. Janae, any other perspective from you on that?
No, just build relationships, because I am seeing more of that, the phone calls, more so than it coming through the platform. Even some of the companies that I've worked with through even the signing services, even they're calling, they're being able to pick the good notaries now. They have the time to do it. And so they want the best. So you make sure that you're prepared to be the best and that they're calling you. So consider that great, Joanne, that they reached out to you. Yeah, good job.
Yeah. No, I just real quick, I did look at their agreement. I was like, wow, I was really impressed. Like, they're very thorough, and they did mention NNA. Like, you had to be, they were very particular. So I was like, well, okay. So good to know. Thank you.
Awesome. Great question. All right. Hey, Daniel in Oregon. Nice to see you. You want to, there you go. Don't forget to unmute though. Hey, Dan, you're still muted. There you go.
I'm going to turn off the video today. Unfortunately, I'm on a Chromebook now and I'm struggling with resources. So I'm going to turn the video off. My question though is my first question is for Laura, really, which is about the embossers you were talking about. And so I tried to order one from the NNA, and as soon as I selected my state as Oregon, the embossers came off the table because they're not, I guess, allowed to be a notarizing thing in Oregon. My question becomes, do these embossers, do they have all of your notary commission information?
Yeah. Yes, they are customized.
Huh?
Yes, they're customized with all of the same information that's on your regular seal.
Okay. So because I'm going to have to order one not from the NNA. So I need to make sure I know what I'm asking for when I order that. And
just make sure, Daniel, did you check that an embosser is acceptable for use in Oregon?
It is acceptable for use, but cannot be using as a notarizing authority. So
okay, so yeah, so the NNA just is not making that for you guys.
No, it's just similar when I needed to order a bond for Oregon. Since the bond is not required, the NNA does not offer it.
Right.
So okay, thank you. My second question is for Bill or for anybody here about. I got a phone call from a fellow notary. Actually, I did a signing recently at a hospital, and my fee for this particular hospital is $40 for my travel and $10 per stamp, as it is. And he called me absolutely livid because he's apparently charging $150 for a hospital trip, and he thinks I'm undermining his business and I'm undercutting the market. And to be honest with you, if it was a house in that same neighborhood and not a hospital, my regular fee is only $30. So I'm only charging $10 more for the hospital, but I'm comfortable with what I make doing that. And I get a lot of phone calls. I never say no, and it's always a pretty good appointment. Do I need to be concerned with my competition being ticked at me for not charging enough?
Who do you want to answer that?
We got some opinions here. I want to hear it. Laura, you jump in first. Go for it.
First of all, I would say that you determine your price based on what's right for your business. So that's the first thing. And so I don't care what my competition is doing. That's really not my business. My business is what I'm doing. That's the first part of it. The second part of it, though, is have you evaluated that that is the right price for you in that environment versus somebody's home? Because I can tell you, I do have a big difference between the two. It's about double. And the reason is that I don't get to park at the front door. I got to check in through security. I got to navigate the halls and the elevators. I may be disrupted by the nurses or others because they got to take an x-ray, they got to do vitals. And so my time is doubled by the time I add all of that extra. So that's why in the same exact, if there was a house, the same exact thing, it would be half the price because I could just walk into their kitchen. I can't do that with a hospital. And so I just ask you to verify for yourself, and you don't have to answer this out loud today, that that is an appropriate, profitable. And that's the other word I want to put in there is that I'm in it for profit. I mean, if this is a community service, then great. But I do have community service things I do, but that isn't one of them. And so I have to have a profit motive, which means after I take out my gas and my time and my supplies and all of that, was there any profit left? Otherwise, I'm working really hard and not getting rewarded as I should. And
Well,
so that's what I would say.
I feel like when I,
Dan,
my
is it okay?
average,
Dan, before you get too much into that, I really want to I want to get the four perspectives now, because everybody on this call undervalues themselves either currently or used to. So I know that this is something that we've got to talk about, right? So Janae, I'd love to hear your perspective on this.
Yes, I learned from Laura. Shout out to NBB and that training that you did. That was like a coveted training, because I realized when I switched over from when I started doing more general notary work than loan signing, which is more clear cut, right? Your prices, it's easier because I've gotten used to that. But with general notary work, every job is different. And when I started doing that, I realized, quick shout out to Notary Assist, especially now with their new bookkeeping, you got to be profitable. There are times where you realize I just, I paid them to do this job. When you calculate your time, when you calculate your gas, your mileage and everything else, and especially there's extra time when you're dealing with assisted living in hospitals, you might have to check in, you have to deal with check-in time and waiting if a nurse is coming in there and you have to, you can't say kick the nurse out, you got to account for all those things. So make sure that it works right for your business and that you're making money. And it's great to look at competition to help you find out what's working in your area, but definitely not creating your prices because of the feelings of another competitor. Utilize the information for market research, but this is your business. You got to work your business and make sure it works for you. So,
I love it, Janae. Thank you. Matt, you want to unmute and share your perspective too?
Sure, and I agree with everything that's been said so far. It's very difficult to put a flat rate on a G&W call because you don't know what your time is going to be. Parking, do you need to scan? Do you need me to print something? Do you need me to ship something? So I never do that. But here in San Francisco a few years ago, all of my direct competition got together and one of them thought they had this brilliant idea that, hey, let's all just match each other's rates and then everybody wins. And I said, wait a minute, guys, that's called price fixing. You can't do that. So don't fall into that trap either. That's just something I wanted to add.
No, Matt, I'm so glad that you brought that up. That's important too. And I think we have to also clarify that the rules are different for every state. So obviously the people who are talking right so far, they have some flexibility in their travel fees that can adjust for that. But sometimes you're in a state where you do not have that flexibility and you have to operate within integrity of those rules. And that's just the way it is. But you can get also pretty creative and stay in integrity as well. And then I would just say ditto to all of those things, because that's critically important, especially when you learn something about a notary in your area. You probably learned that you're not going to want to have to do business with that person if they called and yelled at you right away, right? But I love what Janae said. You got market research, you got data. Like maybe you are underselling yourself, and maybe it's okay because it works right now. But here's the thing, like if you've started your business, and Dan, this isn't necessarily just for you, this could be for anybody else. Because I fell into this trap when I first started. I was like, well, I'm gonna be the undercutter. I played the Walmart game. Well, if they're charging 150, I'm charging 149.99, right? Or 99.99. And I got business. In fact, I did $75 signings. And I got so much business that I couldn't do all the appointments. And then I had to outsource or convince another notary to take a $150 appointment for $75 and then try to squeeze some profit out of it. That wasn't happening, right? So it was just a wash. And I got stuck in that cycle for quite a while because because at the time, $75 changed my life. 5 $75 appointments in one day, 6 changed my life, but it was not scalable. I was thinking too small. So Dan, how was that perspective? Anything? You got 4 great perspectives.
Well, I appreciate the perspectives. I appreciate the opinions, and I will take those to heart. In the end, what I'm thinking is, though, an average appointment at this particular hospital pays me about $80, and it takes me they take about 45 minutes to an hour. If I take a loan from another company, I'm getting paid $95, and I'm having to do printing and stuff. I think $85 or $80 for a hospital trip is a pretty decent price for me, and I think it's fair. So I don't think I want to change too much off of this. I think 150 for the same work is absurd, and I realize I don't have to come down. I don't have to charge 140.
Here's the awesome part, Dan, is you don't have to justify that to us. You don't have to justify that to a notary who calls you on the phone and yells at you. You get to make that decision for you. That's why we're in business for ourselves. So you do what you feel good, because you got to sleep at night too, right?
Ultimately, that's what I told them. I said, look, I'm getting paid fairly. I'm getting a lot of calls. I can't take too much more business than I've got because it's about right. And the hospital business is lucrative. And so I think I'm good with it, but I'm not going to be bullied into raising my prices. So I just feel like I've got to be. I did raise my price from 35 to 40, and I probably will raise to 50 at some point in the next little while. But I'm feeling good where I am. But man, when I'm getting calls from other guys saying I'm trying to screw up the market, it kind of bothers me. I'm a nice guy. I'm the nicest guy you're ever going to meet. So thanks, everybody. Notary Masters next week, next Thursday. We don't have any speakers yet, but I'm about to try and get some. But we have an open house. I want to just mention we have an open house on the 16th of March on marketing with myself, Jen Neitzel, and Jeff Clark are going to be our speakers for that. So there'll be more to come on that. Thank you, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan. And I love that you will not be bullied. So here's the thing, guys, just because somebody calls and wants to share their opinion about the way we do business doesn't mean that we have to listen. So you don't have to entertain those conversations either. Don't let anybody take your energy or your passion out of what you do. All right, Yvette, thank you so much for being here. You want to unmute? Tell us what state you're in and how we can help.
Yes, thank you. Colorado. Good to see y'all. Good to see your faces again. Hope everyone's well. I wanted to start by just thanking Laura for a video I ran across on YouTube that really helped me out yesterday on doing a notarization for a document in a foreign language. I'm not sure when she recorded that, but I think it may have been a while back ago. Your hair was different, but it was super helpful, gave me the confidence to go ahead and do it because I had a gentleman and his wife who needed a document notarized that was in Portuguese, and I do not read nor speak Portuguese. I went ahead and reached out to the notary network on Facebook that we have out here, and there was no one for like 150 miles from where this gentleman needed it. And so I initially had said I couldn't do it, but that I would help him try to find someone who could. And then in that process, it clicked because I remember in our last, I think it was like 2 or 3 sessions ago, Laura had answered someone's question regarding that. And then it kind of clicked back like, oh, wait, I think I can do this actually. So anyway, I did watch the video. I reached out to the NNA as well, just to kind of make sure I had my ducks in a row on some things. And they were super happy. He's like, I kept getting refusals. No one would do it because they don't speak the language. And I speak Spanish, and they're like, and you speak Spanish? So we were hoping like maybe somehow. And I'm like, well, it's still not Portuguese. But anyway, just thank you for that. Thank you for taking time to create those videos for folks like myself. And then also, I do have a couple of questions in regards to blank spaces on documents. Does that include checkboxes that they would need to have something dealt with on a document that has checkboxes as well?
Laura?
Yeah, so that depends on how the phrasing before the check boxes. Is it an or statement or is it an and statement? There should be something, a direction about how that needs to be addressed. And if it's just this one or this one, you only want to have them initial the one. Don't have them mess around with the other one. So check the instructions of the document. Let the document help you with that.
I see. Okay. And then are there any documents that we wouldn't be able to add a certificate if it didn't come with one? Are there any documents that they absolutely have to have a certificate, like provide that no matter what? I know we can help them with like, oh, I'm not sure which one I need, or, we can not tell them, but ask, kind of ask them to go, maybe ask the person what certificate they need, things like that. But is there one that, are there any documents that's like, you absolutely have to have a certificate from that or organization or agency or whatever?
Okay, so for the most part, the answer is no, any document. But is the document notarizable when it doesn't have a certificate would be my question. So if they bring me, people will bring a document because they misunderstand what notarization is. And so if there's no signature to it, and they're asking me to notarize the document, now I may have an issue, especially if maybe all they're wanting is a copy, but I can't do that in my state. So you need to see if what they're asking for is legal in your state. So that would be the question I'd be asking when there's no certificate, to make sure that it's notarizable in the first place. The other thing is that I have found federal documents, they want you to use the certificate that's there and they do not want you to attach. So if there's any way to make it comply with your state rules, I always suggest use the federal certificates. And I'm not aware of any one document that I know absolutely for sure has to have the certificate with it. Many times documents didn't need to be notarized at the moment, and then they decide later it does. So that would be fine. Janae?
Yeah, I would say what I find is I try my best to utilize the certificate that's provided if they have something there, especially for documents with the state, with the county, that's going to be recorded, and certain, like, it depends on the agency, right? Where the document is going, but if at all possible, that they already have it. So I have a mini stamp that I purchased from the NNA. So sometimes it's, you don't have enough space, or if you just need to add your state verbiage on there, I prefer to do that. I mean, if it's just absolutely necessary and I can't make that adjustment to be state compliant, then I will attach. But if it's a matter of what to attach, whether it's an acknowledgement or a jurat, I definitely would have to ask and verify, like you said, Yvette, what is it that I don't assume, what to attach, but yeah.
Okay. And then one other question, I haven't done direct signings yet with title companies. And I was just curious about whether you all have contracts that you create for your own business in that sort of agreement with a company? Do you use any of those in just, setting expectations around fees and different things? Because I know with like the signing services, a lot of them will have their own contracts that we as a loan signing agent, we need to sign and agree with
Yeah.
and things like that. But as an individual business directly with the company, do you use anything like that?
Yvette, great question. No, we do not. And if you can try it, I tried it at the beginning. I just thought that's the way things went. And they basically laughed me out the door. And they're like, no, that's not how it works. It's on an as needed basis or a win-win that way. And I've learned that it's okay. It's okay to have an email, like a letter of understanding, right? Like, okay, here's what we're agreeing to, just to summarize our meeting. Here's what we said, or have your fee schedule that they can, that with the agreed upon fees or radius or what the parameters are, that's okay. But a contract turns people off, especially if there's an attorney in the office.
Gotcha.
All right. And
Okay.
we are
Got it.
past time, Yvette. Thank you so much. Great questions. Kunal, Pam, James, sorry we couldn't get to you this week. You guys, well, Pam knows how to reach me, or Laura, if there's any way we can be of service. Janae, I'm going to let you do an outro real quick and just to reintroduce yourself and tell people how they can connect to you.
Yes, I'm just so grateful for everyone today. Thanks for being, really appreciate being here today and all the awesome questions. And again, if you want to reach out, I will put it in the chat. I have a training resource center that's completely free, has lots of interviews with great notaries all over the country. There's some mini trainings in there. You can check that all out for free. Catch me on the Table Talk next week. If you are in my email system, I'll go ahead and send that out to you with more information. But I'm just happy to be here. And I just have to say, Yvette, once you go direct, that's it. You get a taste of it. You don't want to go back. So I'm looking forward to take all the information that you've gotten here today, mark it out there, and I look forward to hearing that you've gotten your first direct.
Awesome. Thank you, Janae. And thank you so much for being here, Janae. I appreciate that. Laura, outro.
Same as the intro. I'm still here. I'm the founder of Coach Me, Laura, and it was great to answer your questions.
All right. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, everyone. I'm Bill Soroka. Learn about me at notarycoach.com, especially notarycoach.com/NBB, where you can learn about the advanced resources that Laura and I and so many others, 12 other teachers, part of that program, including Janae. So Janae, we love having you in the group as well. And also, you heard a lot of questions today about apostille work, and our great friends, Matt Miller from the California League of Independent Notaries and Judy Lawrence from the Lawrence Institute for Notaries wrote a book called The Apostille Agent Survival Guide, and it will help answer all your questions. So if you're even thinking about doing apostille, or if you already do it and you need some guidance that you can carry around in your notary bag, get that book. Go to allaboutapostilles.com or just go to Amazon and search for The Apostille Agent Survival Guide and pick up that book today. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Bye-bye.